Hello, I'm Dr. William Lee. For decades, we've been told that longevity comes from counting calories, cutting carbs, or chasing the latest superfood trend. But when I study people who live past 100, not in labs, but in real communities around the world, I see something very different. They are not obsessed with perfection, they're not following complicated diets, and they're certainly not eating what most people expect. What they are doing is feeding five powerful systems in the body that control aging itself: your immune system, your gut, your blood vessels, your metabolism, and your cellular repair mechanisms. Today, I want to share the foods that quietly support these systems every single day. Foods backed by science, often overlooked, and surprisingly simple. This isn't about living longer in theory, it's about living longer in practice. When we talk about living to 100, most people assume we're talking about avoiding disease. But from a medical and biological perspective, longevity isn't about avoidance, it's about activation. Your body is not passive. It is equipped with powerful internal defense systems that work every minute of every day to protect you, repair damage, and maintain balance. The question is not whether these systems exist. The question is whether you are feeding them properly. One of the most important of these systems is your immune system. We often think of immunity only in terms of fighting infections, but immunity also plays a critical role in controlling inflammation, repairing tissues, and even preventing cancer from taking hold. What's fascinating is that certain foods don't just support immunity, they actively switch it on in a smarter, more efficient way. Take plant-based foods rich in polyphenols. These are natural bioactive compounds found in everyday foods like green tea, berries, apples, onions, and dark chocolate. When you consume them, they interact directly with immune cells, improving their communication and responsiveness. Instead of triggering chronic inflammation, which accelerates aging, they help the immune system stay alert without becoming overactive. Another overlooked defense system is angiogenesis, your body's ability to grow healthy blood vessels. Without proper blood flow, your immune cells can't reach tissues efficiently, and damaged areas can't repair themselves. Foods such as leafy greens, tomatoes, soy, and olive oil help regulate this process, ensuring that blood vessels grow where needed and stop growing where they could cause harm, such as in tumors. Then there's your body's antioxidant defense network. Contrary to popular belief, this system doesn't rely on massive doses of supplements. It depends on signaling molecules that tell your cells to produce their own antioxidants. Foods like cruciferous vegetables, garlic, turmeric, and citrus fruits activate genes responsible for internal antioxidant production, making your cells more resilient to stress and aging. What's especially powerful is that these foods don't work in isolation. They create a symphony of biological signals that strengthen your defenses simultaneously. This is why people who eat a diverse, whole food-based diet often show stronger immune resilience as they age, even if they don't follow any formal dietary rules. Longevity research consistently shows that centenarians don't eat for pleasure alone, nor do they eat for restriction. They eat in a way that quietly trains their bodies to protect themselves. Every meal becomes an opportunity to reinforce internal defenses, reduce hidden inflammation, and improve the body's ability to respond to threats before they become disease. The most profound insight is this: the foods that activate your natural defense systems are not rare, exotic, or expensive. They are the foods that humans have eaten for generations, long before modern chronic disease became common, and they work not by forcing the body to change, but by reminding it how to function as it was designed to function. One of the biggest misunderstandings about disease is the belief that it appears suddenly. In reality, most chronic illnesses develop slowly, silently, and invisibly over many years. Long before symptoms show up, unhealthy cells are already competing for resources inside the body. What determines whether those cells thrive or fail often comes down to what you eat every day. From a medical standpoint, diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease depend on fuel. They require excess sugar, chronic inflammation, and unregulated blood vessel growth to survive and spread. The remarkable discovery from longevity research is that certain everyday foods can quietly disrupt these processes, making the internal environment hostile to disease while remaining supportive to healthy cells. Take refined sugar and ultra-processed foods. These create repeated spikes in blood glucose and insulin, which feed abnormal cell growth and weaken metabolic control. Now contrast that with foods rich in fiber, such as legumes, whole grains, vegetables, and seeds. Fiber slows sugar absorption, stabilizes blood glucose, and reduces the energy supply that disease-prone cells depend on to multiply. Another critical factor is inflammation. Chronic inflammation acts like fertilizer for disease, encouraging cellular damage and genetic mutations. Foods such as extra virgin olive oil, nuts, fatty fish, ginger, and turmeric contain natural anti-inflammatory compounds that actively calm inflammatory pathways. Instead of masking inflammation, they help reset the biological signals that keep it under control. Blood vessel growth is another hidden contributor. Diseases like cancer require new blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients. Certain foods naturally regulate angiogenesis, preventing abnormal blood vessel formation. Tomatoes, green tea, berries, soy, and citrus fruits contain bioactive compounds that limit the ability of disease cells to hijack the body's blood supply. What's striking is that these are not medicinal foods. They are items people around the world already consume daily. The difference lies in consistency. When these foods are eaten regularly, they shape the internal terrain of the body, creating conditions where disease struggles to gain a foothold. Your gut microbiome also plays a role in starving disease. Beneficial gut bacteria feed on plant fibers and polyphenols, producing short-chain fatty acids that strengthen the gut lining, reduce inflammation, and improve immune surveillance. A diverse, plant-rich diet encourages beneficial microbes that actively suppress harmful organisms linked to disease progression. Centenarian populations do not obsess over eliminating every unhealthy food. Instead, they overwhelm their bodies with protective inputs. Their daily meals tip the balance in favor of health, repair, and resilience. Disease is not fought aggressively, it is quietly deprived of the resources it needs to grow, spread, and dominate. If longevity is the goal, the strategy is not to attack disease once it appears, but to create a biological environment where disease finds it difficult to survive in the first place. Aging is often described as a process that affects the skin, the joints, or the brain. But from a medical perspective, aging is deeply connected to the health of your blood vessels. Your vascular system is responsible for delivering oxygen, nutrients, immune cells, and repair signals to every part of your body. When blood vessels become stiff, inflamed, or damaged, aging accelerates everywhere at once. One of the earliest signs of biological aging is endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is the thin inner lining of your blood vessels, and it plays a critical role in regulating blood flow, blood pressure, and inflammation. When this lining is healthy, blood vessels remain flexible and responsive. When it is damaged, plaque builds up, circulation declines, and the risk of heart disease, stroke, and cognitive decline increases. What's often overlooked is how powerfully food influences endothelial health. Foods rich in natural nitrates, such as leafy green vegetables and beets, increase nitric oxide production in the body. Nitric oxide allows blood vessels to relax and expand, improving circulation and reducing strain on the heart. This single mechanism has been linked to lower blood pressure and improved vascular longevity in long-lived populations. Polyphenol-rich foods also play a vital role. Dark berries, cocoa, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil protect blood vessels from oxidative stress. Instead of allowing free radicals to damage the endothelial lining, these compounds activate protective pathways that preserve vessel integrity over time. This reduces chronic inflammation, one of the main drivers of vascular aging. Another key factor is cholesterol balance. It's not just about lowering cholesterol numbers, but about preventing cholesterol from becoming oxidized and embedded in artery walls. Foods such as nuts, seeds, legumes, and fatty fish help improve lipid profiles while providing anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids that protect blood vessels from internal injury. Blood sugar regulation is equally important. Repeated glucose spikes damage blood vessels at a microscopic level, leading to stiffness and narrowing. Whole foods that digest slowly, including intact grains, vegetables, and healthy fats, reduce glycemic stress and preserve vascular elasticity. In populations where people live past 100, meals are often simple but nutrient-dense. Olive oil replaces processed fats. Vegetables are eaten daily, not occasionally. Sugar is treated as a rarity, not a staple. Over decades, these habits preserve the vascular system, allowing organs to remain nourished, oxygenated, and functional far longer than expected. Longevity is not achieved by chasing youth at the surface. It is achieved by protecting the invisible highways inside your body that sustain life itself, because when blood vessels stay young, every system they support has the chance to age more slowly as well. When people think about aging, they rarely think about the gut. Yet from a medical standpoint, your gut is one of the most powerful regulators of how fast or how well you age. Inside your digestive system lives a vast ecosystem of trillions of microorganisms, and this ecosystem influences nearly every process linked to longevity, including immunity, inflammation, metabolism, and even brain health. The gut is not simply a digestion organ, it is a command center. Nearly 70% of your immune system is located in and around the gut lining. When the gut microbiome is balanced and diverse, immune responses are precise and controlled. When it is disrupted, inflammation increases, immune defenses weaken, and aging accelerates silently over time. One of the most critical factors in gut health is microbial diversity. Long-living populations consistently show a richer and more varied gut microbiome than those with shorter lifespans. This diversity comes not from supplements or probiotics, but from diet. Diets rich in plant fibers provide fuel for beneficial bacteria, allowing them to thrive and crowd out harmful strains associated with disease. Fiber is not just about digestion. When gut bacteria ferment fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate. These compounds strengthen the gut barrier, reduce inflammation, regulate blood sugar, and improve insulin sensitivity. A strong gut barrier prevents toxins and undigested food particles from leaking into the bloodstream, a condition linked to chronic inflammation and accelerated aging. Fermented foods also play a role. Foods like yogurt, kefir, miso, kimchi, and sauerkraut introduce beneficial microbes while supporting existing ones. These foods enhance microbial balance and improve communication between the gut and the immune system, helping the body respond appropriately to stress and environmental challenges. Another overlooked aspect is the gut-brain connection. The gut produces neurotransmitters such as serotonin and communicates directly with the brain through the vagus nerve. A healthy gut microbiome has been associated with better mood regulation, cognitive function, and stress resilience. Chronic stress disrupts gut bacteria, and disrupted gut bacteria amplify stress, creating a cycle that accelerates aging at both the mental and physical level. Ultra-processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and excessive antibiotics can damage the gut ecosystem. These substances reduce microbial diversity and promote the growth of harmful bacteria that contribute to inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. In contrast, whole foods support the gut's natural rhythm and repair processes. Centenarians often eat simple, repetitive meals based on whole ingredients. These meals may not appear sophisticated, but they continuously nourish beneficial gut bacteria, reinforcing immune strength and metabolic balance over decades. Longevity is not just about what you add to your diet, but about how consistently you protect the invisible ecosystem that protects you in return. Aging is often described as wear and tear, but biologically, aging is more accurately the gradual loss of your body's ability to repair itself. Every day, your cells experience damage from normal metabolism, environmental exposure, and inflammation. Longevity depends less on avoiding damage altogether and more on how effectively your body repairs that damage at the cellular level. Your body is equipped with powerful repair mechanisms, including DNA repair pathways, autophagy, and mitochondrial renewal. These systems are not always active. They respond to signals, and one of the most influential sources of those signals is food. Certain foods don't just provide nutrients, they act as molecular messengers that tell your cells to enter repair mode. Autophagy is one of the most important of these processes. It is the body's way of cleaning out damaged cellular components and recycling them into new functional parts. This process declines with age, but research shows it can be stimulated by specific dietary compounds. Foods such as green tea, coffee, berries, turmeric, and cruciferous vegetables contain polyphenols that activate autophagy-related pathways, helping cells maintain efficiency and resilience. Another key repair system involves DNA protection and repair. Over time, DNA damage accumulates, increasing the risk of cancer and age-related decline. Foods rich in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds help reduce oxidative stress that damages DNA. More importantly, they activate enzymes responsible for repairing DNA breaks. This means the body is not just shielded from damage, but is actively restoring genetic stability. Mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside cells, also require constant maintenance. As mitochondria become less efficient, energy levels drop and aging accelerates. Nutrients found in whole foods, such as omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, and phytonutrients from plants, support mitochondrial biogenesis, the process by which new, healthy mitochondria are created. Protein intake also matters, but quality matters more than quantity. Long-lived populations consume moderate amounts of protein from diverse sources, including legumes, fish, and fermented foods. These proteins provide amino acids necessary for tissue repair without overstimulating growth pathways that can accelerate aging when constantly activated. Periods of metabolic rest, supported by simple meals and nutrient-dense foods, allow repair mechanisms to operate efficiently. This is why centenarians often eat until satisfied but not full, giving their bodies time to focus on maintenance rather than constant digestion. Longevity is not about forcing the body to stay young. It is about repeatedly giving the body permission to repair itself day after day, year after year, through foods that quietly flip the switches that keep cells functional, adaptable, and alive longer than expected. In modern nutrition culture, longevity is often marketed as something exotic. We're told we need rare berries from distant regions, expensive powders, or highly engineered supplements to slow aging. But when we examine populations that consistently live the longest, a very different picture emerges. Longevity is built on simplicity, not novelty. Centenarians are not chasing superfoods. They are eating the same familiar foods, prepared in similar ways, over decades. This consistency matters more than any single nutritional breakthrough because the body responds best to steady, reliable signals rather than short-term interventions. Simple foods work because they are biologically recognizable. Whole vegetables, fruits, legumes, grains, and healthy fats interact with the body in ways it has evolved to understand. These foods deliver complex combinations of fiber, micronutrients, and bioactive compounds that work together. In contrast, isolated nutrients and supplements often lack this synergy, reducing their long-term effectiveness. Another advantage of familiar foods is adherence. People are far more likely to eat foods they enjoy and can easily access. Longevity does not come from perfect eating for a few months, but from good eating for many decades. A diet built on simple staples is sustainable, culturally adaptable, and emotionally satisfying, which increases the likelihood that it will be maintained throughout life. There is also a biological cost to constantly chasing extremes. Highly restrictive diets or aggressive supplementation can disrupt hormonal balance, gut health, and metabolism. Simple diets avoid these risks by supporting balance rather than forcing change. They nourish the body without triggering stress responses that can accelerate aging. Traditional food cultures offer a powerful lesson. Mediterranean villages rely on olive oil, vegetables, legumes, fish, and herbs. Asian longevity regions emphasize rice, vegetables, fermented foods, and tea. Blue zone populations eat variations of beans, greens, and whole grains. These diets differ in flavor and culture, but they share a foundation of simple, whole foods eaten daily. Simple foods also encourage mindful eating. Meals are slower, portions are moderate, and food is enjoyed rather than optimized. This reduces overeating, supports digestion, and improves metabolic health. Stress reduction alone has measurable effects on inflammation and immune function, contributing indirectly to longevity. The idea of a superfood implies a shortcut, but aging does not respond to shortcuts. It responds to patterns. Familiar foods, eaten regularly, create predictable biological rhythms that support repair, immune balance, and metabolic stability. Longevity is not hidden in a rare ingredient or a trendy formula. It is built quietly through repetition, simplicity, and trust in foods that have sustained human health for generations, proving that what feels ordinary is often what works best over the longest span of time. One of the most surprising discoveries in longevity research is that people who live the longest rarely describe themselves as being on a diet. They are not counting calories, tracking macros, or eliminating entire food groups. Instead, they follow patterns of eating that feel natural, flexible, and deeply integrated into daily life. This absence of restriction is not a weakness, it is one of their greatest strengths. Chronic dieting places the body under constant stress. Repeated cycles of restriction and overeating disrupt hormones that regulate hunger, metabolism, and energy use. Over time, this stress accelerates aging by increasing inflammation and impairing immune function. Long-lived populations avoid this cycle by eating in ways that nourish rather than punish the body. One common pattern is eating until satisfied, not full. This simple habit reduces metabolic strain and supports insulin sensitivity. It allows the body to efficiently process nutrients while leaving energy available for repair and maintenance. Over decades, this practice protects against obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease without the need for strict rules. Another key factor is food timing. Many centenarians eat their largest meals earlier in the day and keep evening meals lighter. This aligns eating patterns with circadian rhythms, improving digestion, blood sugar control, and sleep quality. Better sleep, in turn, supports immune health, brain function, and hormonal balance, all of which influence longevity. Variety also replaces restriction. Instead of banning foods, long-lived individuals focus on adding protective foods regularly. Vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and healthy fats appear consistently on the plate, crowding out less nutritious options naturally. This approach shifts the focus from deprivation to abundance, making healthy eating feel rewarding rather than limiting. Cultural and social factors matter as well. Meals are often shared with family or community, reinforcing emotional well-being and reducing loneliness. Social connection has been shown to lower stress hormones and improve immune resilience. Eating becomes a source of pleasure and connection, not guilt or control. Flexibility is another hallmark of longevity-focused eating. Celebrations are enjoyed. Seasonal foods are embraced. There is room for indulgence without shame. This flexibility prevents the psychological burnout associated with rigid dietary rules and supports a healthy relationship with food over a lifetime. The medical insight here is clear. The body thrives when it feels safe, nourished, and supported. Longevity does not come from constant discipline, but from consistent care. When eating patterns reduce stress, support repair, and fit naturally into daily life, the body responds by aging more slowly, maintaining function longer, and preserving vitality well into advanced years.